Hey, what's up, go-getters? Welcome to another episode of The Pursuit, where we help you awaken your potential, achieve your dreams, and leave a legacy you'll be proud of. Listen, we got a really cool one today. This one's coming from the heart. Today we're talking about family. We're talking about family values and how to take the culture, the mission that you build in your company, and that same passion, build culture and values in your home. So if you're new to The Pursuit, welcome. Hi, my name is Patrick Kerwin. I'm a life coach, founder at Legacy Life, and creator of the Life by Design courses over at patrickkerwin.com. Now, whether you're listening live, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Or you're listening on our companion podcast, or even watching us recorded. Listen, I'm just glad you're here. It just so happens we go live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. So please give us a like, join us, and join our community by hitting the subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell so you get notified of any future content that we post. All right, guys, as we begin every single week, before we get into today's main topic, let's get into some good. Let's find some good in the world with our inspiring story of the week. All right, so I'm going to tee this one up for you because this one definitely hit me in the feels. It showed me how generous we can be when you have a company, a business that values its people and doesn't see them as just employees, but members of their team, members of their family. They treat them accordingly. So I want to share this story with you. I found this one on Facebook. Check this out. I found this one on Goalcast originally, and then I found the original post. Condo owners bring furloughed cleaning lady to tears by revealing that they got her the penthouse. So I'm going to skip ahead to the end of the story here. This woman was without a job, and just because business was bad and stuff was going on due to COVID, as you imagine. And her name is Rosa. I'm just going to highlight some parts in the story here. If you're listening on the podcast, just follow the sultry sounds of my voice here. So it says, after working at the same New York condo for 20 years, she was furloughed and had to move in with her sister. She didn't have a home to live in. The residents of the luxury condo got together and bought her 2 full years of residency. And I want to play for you the clip of when they told her. So just to kind of set the stage, it's kind of a long clip, so I'm going to skip into it. But these guys are walking her through. She thinks she's there to clean the place. And she's walking around. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. This whole time, these two guys know they're about to hand her the keys, but she has no idea. So let me play you a little clip here. I think the audio is being a little choppy, so I apologize. So I'll just kind of give you the visual too here. So here she is walking through. They're walking through the terrace. They're walking through the beautiful rooms, the kitchen. And this guy says, your family's been through a lot. And she's standing there. And, I'm so sorry that the audio is being choppy right now. But I just want to cut to her reaction. She's like, no. And then she just puts her hand over her face, starts crying, and you touch her on the shoulder. Listen, I think you guys get the gist of this story. When we, as humans, as people, operate and act from a place of our own values, whether it be personal values, company values, we use that as a filter to make positive decisions in the world. So that got me thinking as I was looking at this video, well, something that I do in our household, my wife and I do this, and I've already gotten several requests to talk about this, so I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm just going to pull the curtain a little back and share something with you, and my goal is to help you build today, live on this call if you're willing to do it, some core family values that you're going to use to impact yourself, your spouse, your children, if you have children, pets, just friends that you love. So let me start with some principles here. I'm going to start with some values of my own, and I'm going to share my family values with you with the hope that inspires you to create your own culture and rules and philosophies within your own home. And here's the guiding reason behind all this, okay? we need to work on ourselves. It's not just that we rise to the level of our personal development, personal and professional and business level, but this is something that I've learned painfully and honestly, and that is we don't just pass on our genes to people we love and our children. We pass on our attitudes, we pass on our strengths and our weaknesses, but really what the joy we get to pass on is our soul and our spirit. And it just so happens that how we see ourselves, how we view others, how we view the world and our reason for being in this life, we pass that on too. So it's important that we become very intentional with the kind of fertile soil that we're planting ourselves and our children and our loved ones in. And if we're intentional with that fertile soil, or create fertile soil, it influences the fruit that they bear. So today we're going to help you create clear family values that not only help you pass on a legacy that you're proud of, but also create unbreakable bonds between everyone in your household. So I'm just going to share this with you. Jump right into my screen here. Now, this just so happens is something that we call it the Kerwin Family Creed. It went through many names and iterations. It used to be called the Kerwin Family Constitution, whatever. The point is that it's framed and on our wall in our house. If you're the kind of person that you run your business with intentionality, you've got brand documents, you've got values statements, mission statements, I'm going to challenge you now, right here on this call, to think of your family in the same way. Now, I understand that maybe what I'm saying right now is a little biased, a little targeted towards a specific group of people. If you are married and you have kids, or not married, you have kids, or just dating someone, or 2 dogs, whatever your situation is, I think we all have a place to start creating the environment in which we can thrive and other people can thrive as well. So that's my intention today. So I'm going to give you the story about how I created mine, with the hope that it inspires you to create yours. So I see we've got a few folks in the call. Hi, welcome. If you want to say hi in the chat, I'd love to hear from you. Hopefully my chats are working this time. I think I worked out all the kinks. So let me share this with you. Here's the family values again. It starts off, now I got all my notes here. Too many windows, Patrick. All right. It starts off with, and you can get as fancy with this or as simple with this as you want. Listen, you can create a piece of paper, just write it on a napkin. I don't care what you do you. I'm a little fancy, so of course I got to create it and I got to put some graphics on it and stuff like that. But here's my 3 core values, as simple as it is. Family first. Before business, before anything else, family first. That's one of the core values in our household. Number 2, be your best. So be your best means it's a value of personal growth. It's a value of personal development. And this is something that I want to make sure that everyone is there. In fact, I got my son, William, on the line. Hey, William, thanks for jumping in and saying hi. It's your dad talking to you now about our own family values, which if I've done a good job, you already know these family values. So, and then lastly is live on purpose. And these are all about, and I'll go through these. I know I'm skimming through. I'm showing you the document. If you're watching on the YouTubes and the videos, if you're listening on the podcast, again, just follow along with me here. 3 core values: family first, be your best, live on purpose. Now, I want to come back here for a second. So how you start to create these values. And I've learned this with creating values for myself, my own company, helping other companies do the same thing, whether it's building a brand or whatever you're doing. But I've also coached, as you imagine, a lot of people towards living very intentionally and with purpose and on purpose. So I want you to think about for a second, just as a beginning exercise, if you want to do this, okay? If this is something you take seriously and you want to dive into this, let's dive into this. So it all begins with simply thinking about this question. I want you to ask yourself this question: what matters to me? Think about your life experiences. Think about the lessons you've learned. Think about the things that really have stuck out to you in your life, something you operate by, something you want to pass on to the next generation that you believe will inspire them and point them in the right direction. But these aren't just for you. These aren't just for your children or people you live with. This is for you. This is something to help you hold yourself to a very high standard of accountability. Now, for me, my first value is I wrote it, and then I'll teach you how to write what goes underneath it. But let's just start off with the 10,000 foot view values first, okay? And I would say no more, 5 at the most. You maybe think, Patrick, I can think of 20. Great. But if people can't remember it, then you can't transmit it. Simplicity is genius in this regard. Aim for 3 to 5 max. You have to censor yourself on this one, okay? My first one, family first, comes from my experiences, comes from my story. I'm probably 11 years old, and this is when I first learned this, okay? My mother and her family are first generation Lebanese, so Arabic descent. And you can imagine how strong family units are in that particular culture. We're at a friend's house down the block, and I'm the older brother, and I have a younger brother, David, and he's being teased. And it's just, kids, they tease each other, they do stuff like that. Oh man, I still feel guilty about this. David, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I know we were kids at the time, but I was going to say sorry again. They started teasing him, and instead of defending my brother, I jumped in. And he went home crying, and I'll never forget the look on my mother's face when I came home. She looked at me with such disappointment, and she said something to me. I didn't understand it at the time, but she said, Patrick, and a dramatic pause, blood is thicker than water. And of course, I had no idea what that meant, but over time, I came to understand that what this really means is family first. You've got to prioritize your family. There's so many distractions in the world. So many things are going to pull us in our business and our relationships and our life and our pursuit of just finding calm and center. We can easily forget what matters most to us. So this is about prioritizing, not just creating values. What this allows you to do is create an unbreakable family unit because you guys are building this thing together and growing together towards a common goal or culture. So family first, that's where that came from. My second one, and again, I only share this with you because I want to inspire you. I want you to start thinking about this. The question that hopefully is on your heart right now is, what are my values? What are my core values? What do I stand for? What am I willing to take a stand for? You got me? Okay. Number 2 is be your best. Now, for me, be your best in this regard. I'm going to show you the screen again here. You can see there's little phrases underneath. Again, I'll come back to that in a minute. But be your best for me is part of my wife Katie and I's values of personal development and growth. And we just believe that if you live your life with intentionality to try to always aim for your next level, that next best self, that you could always have something to strive for, always have something to look forward to in life, that not only fills your heart and fills your soul, but it directs your life with purpose. So we believe in our household that it's important that we be our best, that we hold each other accountable to be our best, that we're always asking each other for more because we have more to give than maybe we often think we do. And that's why this value is so there and so close. Now, this third one should be no surprise to anyone who's listened to me speak or talk or coach or anything for years. Everything we do here at Legacy Life is about living on purpose. Of course, this had to make it into the family values. And this is about our one life. And what are we going to do with that one life? What are you going to do with your one life? And so this is about making the most of it. And unfortunately, unfortunately, I learned this lesson. I'm sure you've learned yours differently. It was sophomore year of high school. And it was the first time that I ever touched or got close to death. And I'm not going to say his name because I want to keep, respect the privacy of the family. But one of our classmates died. He hung himself. And it was a terrible tragedy. And I'd never seen death up that close before. And I remember going to the funeral and just the sounds of his mother sobbing. And, it shook something up in me. And then, of course, years go by and, life and death touches us all, and losing loved ones and pets and friends. And if life's taught me anything, it's that we're on borrowed time. And if we're on borrowed time, and this is I'm not immortal, like it's whatever was borrowed must be returned, and all of physics and everything like that, then I need to make sure that I'm living my best life. And are you living your best life? So here's what we're going to do. I want you to start to think, again, if you just have your phone with you, if you're driving, don't do this while you're driving, but just start to ask yourself this question. What are my core values? Maybe it's just one word at this point. Just about the beginning point. So once you start thinking about this and how to bring this into build the same culture you build in your business and values and mission, start to bring that into your home. And at the end of this, I'm going to call you to frame this thing, whether it's on a napkin or whatever, just get it started, get it going. After you've got your statement, okay? So for me, it's family first. And I'm going to go back to the share screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, just maybe this is one of those videos you should just go watch on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever all the places we're broadcasting right now. I have a couple of them here. I'm just going to rattle these off to you just in case it inspires you. Every time you write a one-liner, it's an idea, it's a principle, it's an ism, whatever you want to call it. Underneath that should be some sort of descriptive paragraph or descriptive sentence, just a few, or the way I did it was just kind of bullet points, right? Phrases that kind of align with the top. Under family first, I have stay close, stay connected. Seek first to understand before being understood. This is a big one for me. Speak with kindness. If you're a parent, you know that sometimes your kids drive you crazy. Sometimes maybe your spouse drives you crazy. This value of always speaking with kindness is going to push you to another level of growth. And trust me on this one. Your word is your bond. This is about keeping your promises. So now I've got family first value, promises, kindness, seeking to understand, and making sure you prioritize family, staying close, staying connected. So I think you can start to see how this starts to build out. You build a core value or principle, and underneath that, you describe in behavior, what does that look like? How is that going to show up? Or how do I want that to show up in the world? This is for you more, I'd probably say, than it is for anyone else. Because I'm going to go back to where I started. We all model each other. We're all products of our environment. We need to create a rich, fertile soil in our families and our family units that bring us together, that bring us closer together. And I cannot think of something more important of how we could spend our time than spending 10 minutes of investment in building some core values, something you all connect with, align with, hold each other accountable to, for growth, for spiritual growth, personal growth, because the seeds we plant in ourselves and our children and our friends and our loved ones, they grow and they bear fruit, and then they pass it on to the next generation. And that's how legacy works. So if you're hearing me at all, this is about building intentional legacy, okay? You hear me on this one? Intentional legacies. I've got two more on this, but I'm not going to, I'll just run these through real quick, okay? Be your best. Here's a couple on my list. I'm curious what ends up on yours. If you want to comment below, let me know. Under be your best, own your emotions. Nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Hey, failure is just feedback. And never give up. Keep on going. Live on purpose. Okay? Make each day your masterpiece. Think big, but start small. Because that's my inner entrepreneur coming out with that one. You become who you surround yourself with. And this one I got from my dad as one of the last things he said to me before he passed from cancer. You woke up, you won. All of these things together, I hope you see that it's part of my story. But more important to me, what's your story? How has the bumps and the bruises of your life now equipped you to create something beautiful, something meaningful that you can pass on to the people you care about? So here's my challenge to you. Piece of paper, napkin, whatever. Go 5 max. I'd probably say minimum 2 or 3. Create some statements of values. And underneath that, a little descriptor paragraph of the behaviors. How do you want that to show up? What does that look like? So people can listen to it, understand it, follow it, and co-create it with you. And hopefully this is something, if you're married, if you have a spouse, it's something you create with them and with each other. So it's Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope this has inspired your day, got your gears going, got you thinking a little bit. And I'm excited for how this might turn up. So if you're watching this recorded, whatever. Comment below. Let me know maybe what are one of the core values that you came up with. I'd be interested to see if any of them align with mine. Please feel free to steal, borrow, run with anything I give it. I'm sure I've stolen and borrowed it from 15 million other sources. But I hope that you begin to plant those seeds and leave those legacies that I know will outlive you and beyond. So, hey, thanks for tuning in for another episode of The Pursuit. I hope this inspires your week. And until we meet again, may the fire within lead to happiest heights and the road you travel be lined with lights. We'll see you next time.